back to our regularly scheduled program, and today is great because we wanted to kick off the end of the year with my amazing returning guest, Vicente Luna. Vicente, how are you?
Oh my God, Shannon, it's so nice to be here. I really didn't expect this call, and it has just made my 2020. I feel like I won a sweepstakes, you know? So happy to be back. So happy to be back in the studio.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I just want to say, hey, girl, hey. Oh, I haven't said that in a long time. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, hello, girl, hello.
That's the proper way.
Right.
And
Sorry.
I brought some tea because we're going to be sipping some tea today as well, honey. So lots to talk about. You and I have known each other now. Oh my God. So I actually went over our pictures when we were in Paris 4 years ago.
Oh God, amazing. Yeah, because that wasn't
4 years ago in Paris.
When were we there? We were there in September,
September
right?
2016.
Yikes, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Right after we met, because we met that summer.
We met that summer at Rick's party, like street party.
Mm-hmm.
Summer. Oh, just to say the word parties is like, wow, what's that like anymore?
I was looking at Facebook was telling me like what I was doing on like yesterday or whatever, that date 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. I was in Mexico for my friend's wedding, and then last year I was in New Zealand visiting friends, you know, and so it's
in
like
Australia.
when your timelines like match up like that, and you're like, okay, I was doing this 2 years ago, I was doing this last year, and then this year I was really excited to go from the bathroom to the kitchen and then back to my room again. So that was fun.
That's gonna be our memories for 2021, where we're gonna be like, oh, I remember just hanging out in my bathroom for 2 hours, looking at myself and crying and smoking a saying, oh, what are we gonna do? Hopefully that will be a vast memory and we're back to some sort of normalcy.
Yeah, within this year, or this upcoming year, I can really see us taking like a genuine hard turn back into normalcy, you know?
Well, let's get into it. I remember last year at this time, I was gearing for my travels. I went to Costa Rica in January of this year. And January, as you know, 2020 was our tumultuous month because we lost Kobe and his daughter.
Yeah, terrible.
And obviously 9 other people passed away in that helicopter accident. And that just seemed to set off 2020, like literally that was 2 to 3 weeks within January. And that was explosive, as well as the impeachment of Donald Trump.
Yep.
That happened. He was impeached, y'all, historically. Yeah. He was impeached by the House.
Yeah.
Not by the Senate, but he was impeached, and that was huge in January. My uncle passed away in January. Well, he had a heart attack. Thank God we were able to all be there and say he was my favorite uncle, Uncle Eddie.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's rough.
Then the rumblings of coronavirus started. This virus that started in Wuhan, China. And where's Wuhan? You know, just rumblings, just little news clippings here and there of this.
Boy, and we were
growing.
You and I were like a week apart or something in Costa Rica, I think, right? Because you said January.
In January. Yeah, I was there for New Year's.
We were going to the airport. All of us were leaving on the same day, of course. And the rumblings, like, there's this virus like coming out of China. And it was like, the bird flu, like, it's a very densely
That's what I thought it was going to be.
Area. It's not going to be crazy like this. It's not going to lead to shutdowns. And that's not even dismissiveness. That's just pure naivete, So that's a good drag name.
That's a good, totally. I was going to say, could that be my middle name?
I was gonna say, yeah, Wuhan naivete. Love it. Okay. So anyways, we didn't know any better. And now obviously we know very much better. But
very much better.
Crazy. It's crazy that down like that.
So that was January. Then February came and I had a girls trip. We went on a wine trip with some girls, and that's when it really started. The news
to pick up.
To pick up what's really going on in China, and then it hit Italy. And that was where everybody was like, Italy?
Why a bomb going off? Yeah.
To Italy, and Italy was this complete shutdown starting at the end of February.
Yeah.
And of course, It was the U.S.'s time.
Yeah, then we came in March. Yeah, mid-March.
March 13th. I remember specifically for California specifically because everybody wanted to party for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And they kept the bars open, the restaurants open, just so we can have our last hurrah. Because again, we're thinking 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Oh, it's fine. Save money. We don't need to go out for 3 weeks, right?
Right.
I literally thought this was going to be a temporary situation, and
when we didn't know how bad it was already, because they're saying that a lot of speculation that COVID was in the United States like earlier than December, and that it was in China earlier than December. You know what I mean? So it's like, and this, I mean, they're gonna plow through all of the or mull over all of the data for generations, and then come up with some kind of quantified reality that actually happened. It's not like somebody ate a bat or whatever, like that kind of nonsense, that racist nonsense that was going on. And I'm like, when Mexicans were like sharing that, like friends of mine, I'm like, you guys, we eat cabeza, which is head, we eat lengua, which is tongue, we eat pig's feet, okay?
So does my mom and dad.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you're judging. I'm like, what's so dirty about a bat? They just another
yuck. First of all, gross.
Well, nobody was eating bats. You're missing the point. You completely washed over my whole point. Different cultures, different foods. I'm sure it's delicious. If you fried bat, just like a little side of fried bat.
Little with a piece of egg on the side, a little poached egg.
Okay, I see what you're doing with a brioche bun.
With a sprig of cilantro.
Like a cilantro and a little bit of tapatio. Okay, done. Now we've got a fried bat sandwich that's coming to McDonald's.
All right, write this down. Write this down right now.
Don't forget this. This is a moneymaker idea, because everybody's gonna want bat after this happened.
So again, it doesn't seem so far away in March, but then it does seem so far away. That was 9 months ago, right?
Absolutely.
And the wall started tumbling down. And then I remember in March when the news was saying California's first 10 people passed away within a week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
10 people. And I'm like, wow, 10 people died in California?
Yeah. Right. Oh. And that's the thing is, I think it came up on us quick because it was already moving through here. We just had no idea how it was. And we're such a global community. And the thing about this that I hate is that for that to stop. You know what I mean? Like, you and I specifically, love to travel, and we want to see every country and go to countries multiple times, and we want to like speak the language and eat the food, and not like in a, kind of like, oh, you're cute, like little native people, like in the sense that we want to be immersed in it because we have like this curiosity and
I have this curiosity, I have this hunger of knowledge to learn about other people's the countries and food and ethnicity. Yeah. And just their cultures. I mean,
value.
You're a big traveler like I am. Yeah. I had 10 cancellations just between January and June of canceled. I mean, from August to I was going to go to Canada. We were going to go to New York. I was going to go to Jamaica. I was going to go to Hawaii. I had all kinds of things.
Well, and it's really good that you didn't travel during that initial time, because it was so bad, and we didn't know how bad it was, and there was no safety precautions. There was no effort to kind of contain it by the airline industry or by the FAA to say, okay, well, if you're going to fly, then you need to put these things into place.
Right.
Because my friend's mom, who I had gotten very close with only the September prior, she died from it in April. And so it was like right away, and for months people told me they didn't know anybody who had it. They hadn't lost anybody to it. They had no scope of how serious it was, but I got like this slap in the face. And so, she passed, and it was terrible. And it was like, whoa, this wasn't real. Like the understanding the scope, the reality that somebody within a month to 3 weeks could get this and then pass. That's the severity of it. Not that so many people have it, not that so many people are in the ICU, but it's the fact that so fast. When you got terminal cancer, you get like 6 months. But with COVID, it's like 1 month. You deteriorate. Or less.
We'll get into more of the COVID situation. I wanted to talk about that and the lockdowns and how it was just this earth-shattering new way of life in a minute of minutes, but we're going to get into that too, because I've suffered of quite a few losses from my client. Yeah. But we'll get into that one. Again, we're going to keep the show light, but it is a reality, and people don't like to talk about it, so people don't want to see about it on YouTube or the TV. But it is what it is, and if you want to live in a cave, then go to Montana and live in a bunker that I went.
I was saying,
it's all this bunker that's 100 feet down. Then go live in that bunker.
I was gonna say, are you talking about your friend who
yeah, when I went to visit Montana.
I'm like, wait, you just calling him out? He was a guest on your show. You're like, yeah, go ahead, go to Montana, okay? Go live in a hole. Oh, I'm sorry. Love you.
So amongst all that, you and I are very vocal about social, just social alliances, social awareness. And one thing that definitely struck a chord in 2020 is the racial tension that we've been having, especially with minorities and the police, right?
Yeah.
We heard the story that rumbled when we were tackling on COVID in April about the Ahmaud Arbery case.
Yeah.
Hidden 2 months back that he was killed unjustly by 2 white supremacists. And we found out that he was killed unjustly by just jogging in his own neighborhood, right?
Right.
And we hear about another story by a young lady named Breonna Taylor, who was murdered by a few police in her own home when she was sleeping. Yeah. So another case of a young woman being unjustly murdered in her own home, and then what blew up.
Yeah, killed in her bed too. That was
killed in her bed. Yeah, she was sleeping. Just sleeping. Exactly. Yeah. And then what really brought the blow it all, because we're just done, was the George Floyd.
Yeah, absolutely.
And seeing a man die within 8 minutes and 49 seconds on camera. Children, the world, were seeing this black man being pinned and to death and suffocated on camera for 8 minutes and 49 seconds by a white cop. And that was it. Yeah,
for sure.
And the world saw that. America went to marching, protests. Yes, it got ugly. Some don't know how to do things right. It got ugly. LA, I was there marching with LA, quite a few of the peaceful protests.
Yeah.
And I know that you were a part of it and vocal. What were your thoughts about what's going on? It's kind of hard to say a funny take, because nothing's funny about nothing.
Yeah.
About that, but what is your take?
Yeah. Quick? Well, let me just get real for a second, okay?
Get real, honey. Woo! Let me straighten that.
I'm just gonna stretch real quick, and here we go. No.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on. Let me. Okay.
Hold on. Woo!
And ready. Okay.
And ready.
So I mean, like, with social justice issues, I think that for people like us who are outgoing and who have some kind of like larger network, it is our job to comment or to state our position, because I think that you can open hearts and minds. It depends on the way that you do it, and I don't think that we should also coddle people's sensitive natures just to serve the purpose of comfortability. You know what I mean? So, if we talk on it, we talk on it, and it is what it is, and people can disagree or agree with us. And people who know us would say that, these two people are not prejudiced towards anybody, but that you just got to call, a spade, like it is what it is. There's just a history of systemic racism in this country, and it comes from every single angle. It's not just the police. And I'm not saying that to apologize for them, but it's also in our housing, in our, in the way that people are given, loans and credit and
jobs,
and, in our education, jobs, in it's been built into every aspect of our existence. And so Black people have faced that, to the highest extent. And, and then it kind of, makes its way through every other ethnicity. So yeah, I mean, it is crazy, but I'm from Minnesota. So obviously to hear that another, because Philando Castile was also killed by police a couple years ago. And, like, unfortunately, I knew the cop who killed him because we went to the same church. He's
what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we were kids. So when I heard that, God. I was like, whoa. And a lot of his family is very close to my family. So I personally didn't, kind of speak specifically on what happened, in that instance. And I just kind of took a back seat. But I think Minnesota, and myself included, are done. And I know people within that same, like extended family. I don't know like his I haven't known him for many years. I didn't know he was a cop. I just heard the name and I thought that's weird because in Minnesota, that is a family that I know. But I know members of his family that have marched and you know what I mean? Like identify the difference between, their personal connection and the greater like macro view of what's wrong with policing in America. So yeah, I mean, I went to Minnesota like right after it happened.
You sure did.
Flying into Minnesota, seeing like things on fire, like seeing flames, and then surveying kind of the scene afterwards, finding a lot of beauty in what existed after the fact at the corner where he was killed. The mural, my high school art teacher was a part of creating that mural, that beautiful mural that's on the wall of the Cup Foods. Like seeing that they blocked off traffic in that corner for months and months and months,
wow.
and let people use that space as a healing space, right?
Wow.
And like I don't condone or condemn the riotous nature that comes from protests, because I think sometimes, just to be perfectly honest, shit gotta burn. People don't listen, people don't listen. And we've been saying it over and over and over. And
the wig was flipped right there when it said that.
Okay, and ready, and sometimes shit gotta burn. But yeah, I genuinely like believe that. And yes, of course.
Do you believe that? Okay, because we're gonna probably get some haters on here. Do you believe that figuratively or literally? That shit.
No, literally. Yeah, literally.
You agree on burning buildings?
So here's the thing: the police precinct that was burned, it's known for many years. Like since I was a kid and lived there, steer clear of that. Those people that space is not good. They don't police with justice. That's a perfect example of something that was a statement, that was made and that was said, louder and clearer, and wouldn't have resonated with as many people if that imagery wasn't there. That's why I feel like literally you got to burn some shit. Now, businesses. I'm
gonna disagree with you on that, because I don't believe in burning any of the buildings in our communities, whether it's policing or government, because that's just, it's destroying property. And it's,
I'm not, you know what? And I'm not saying I'm going to be out there. I'm never going to do it. I'm never going to be the person to do it. I understand why it has to happen.
I understand it, but I don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not condoning, but I'm also not condemning 100%, because I get it. I am a peaceful protester. That is my lane. I choose my lane, and every single person chooses their lane. Now, aside from that instance, when it's minority-owned businesses, when it's people of color who are losing their homes, when it's whatever, those things I don't condone, and those things I will condemn. I think, if Target, got looted, that's a bummer, but I don't look at it as like, oh no, like that's terrible. No, lives are lost, people. Like Target will be back. It's like you're upset because you can't get a shower caddy at the same place that you can get like your kids' school clothes. Like, I don't really care. No, I love Target, whatever. But
yeah, so, they got Target's not a sponsor yet, because if it's sponsored, I'd be fired right now.
right, exactly.
No,
they've been great, and they said, we're gonna rebuild, and they have. In the time that I was there, everything was back to normal. So the statement made its point. But I also think, they're an opportunist. There are people who don't care about the movement, but they just want free shit.
Oh, there was tons of opportunities. That was on camera, on film, on YouTube, on Twitter. All these well, let's be honest. They were looting as well. They started the fires. There was many accounts of white people starting breaking the buildings and firing to look like people from Black Lives Matter was doing it.
Yeah. No, there was a lot of it that was that was swept under the rug and that was underreported, and misrepresented as saying that there were people who were out there every single day. Many friends of mine that I know from working in youth development and youth services in Minneapolis before I moved here, who are very active, who are activists, and who come in every, native brothers and sisters of mine who are always down for the cause, and who know the struggle very real.
Yes.
The OG strugglers in this country, Black friends who work in the community and who, and artist friends, of Latino descent, everybody is down. And I saw this kind of progress. COVID was going nuts. I'm staying with my parents, my aging parents, so my physical involvement had to be minimal. And I also feel like, you know, as like sometimes it's a time to listen, you know, and that's how I felt about this. I said, look, I support the cause. I, you know, will, you know, kind of cheer you on from the sidelines. I'll get involved when I can. And it's not to say that's being disingenuous. It's just, I got to think about the safety of my family. I got to think about, you know, the reality of my own safety, you know, and take this the way that I feel comfortable doing. And I think everybody should do the same.
So we had, again, you know, everybody, I'm sure you all remember, but again, the world was recognizing the injustices of the racial tension. So we had America marching, we had different countries, Europe, Australia, Spain, Portugal, people
France, England,
for us, regardless of the pandemic.
Yeah,
they were marching because it was just a statement to say we've had enough, right? So, you know, let's talk about some fun stuff, because I know you have some stories for us when you were in Minnesota during this, you know, tumultuous time. Because, you know, Minnesota was on fire, literally. So was LA.
Right.
But what were the fun things that you remember? Because you were living with your mom and dad for 3 months.
4 months.
4 months. Good God. 4 months. And you have your own place in LA County, but you visit them and hang out. What was your motivation to just hanging out with them for a while?
So I'll just say that, you know, like those sayings, like, you can always go home. No, you can't. No, you can't. No. If you go home, then you deserve everything that's coming to you. And I don't feel sorry for you, because nobody felt sorry for me, sister. Oh my God. The way
breathe.
Okay. And okay. I don't know how to describe the experience of being somebody who has lived on their own for many, because I lived on my own from before I moved away from Minnesota, you know, so since I was on my own since I was like 16, 17, you know, and that was just like past, you know, family stuff where I recognized that I was like just a little shit, and very difficult. I'm not like very easy now. It's just difficult in a different way.
Very independent. Let's use the word independent.
Oh yeah, that's so nice. People used to call me that all the time when they didn't want to say that I was difficult. Yeah, I get it. You know what? You're not my therapist, Shannon. Sorry. Again.
I was going to charge you $150 an hour for this damn podcast. So.
But yeah. So, anyway, it was amazing. You know, like to be number one. You know, I work in production. You know, like TV. You know, photo shoots, like all that kind of stuff. Also pursuing acting and filmmaking. So there's never a good time to be away from LA for like more than a month. You know, because opportunity strikes when it strikes. But this was the perfect opportunity because I didn't have anything that was keeping me here. You know, like nothing.
There was nothing. Shut down anyway. In LA.
And I was terrified to get on that flight, catch COVID, give it to my parents. I mean, just worst case scenario, right? But luckily it all went fine. I'm very lucky, you know, I got tested before I left and when I got there and you know, and we were already wearing our masks for months whenever we left the house. Like that was normal for us. Whereas in a place like Minnesota, they were picking and choosing. The mask mandate for them didn't go into effect until July.
Wow.
So yeah, it's very different. And the thing is Minnesota is amazing, you know? Oh my God, I could talk about Minnesota all day, okay? But the thing is like sometimes there's a step missing. You know, it's like, for one example, when they tried to ban gay marriage in the state before Obama had made it nationwide, they tried to ban it, beat the ban, and then within a year they put it on the ballot or whatever to get it signed into law to approve gay marriage, because civil unions were the only thing that was allowed there. So that just shows kind of the reverse. Like there's a movement to ban this injustice towards a group of people, and then in the reverse, within 1 year they were able to take that energy and parlay it into, you know, putting gay marriage on the books in that state. So there is that kind of duality of like, yeah, there's police shootings there, but also Minnesota stepped up and got loud. And based on Minnesota, the rest of the world took suit. But I mean, yeah, as much as I loved everything that was going on there, like, of course I missed LA. Of course I had people constantly saying to me, oh, are you gonna move back now? And it's like, you must have lost your damn mind. You silly little Minnesotan.
You silly goose. I'm a
never...
California now. Hey, come on. When you enter a room, you know, just like moi, we gather the attention. People want to be like, woo, the party started. You are an amazing individual. You're hilarious. You're funny. And so, of course, they want Vicente Luna back. And
right. And they were, you know, for them,
was your mom delighted?
Yeah. No, it was, you know, it lasted, the excitement and like kind of thing lasted for like a solid 3 days. Like we were all in it we were all so happy to see each other, and then the fights broke out.
And then the fights broke out.
I feel like it was, there were all these beautiful moments wrapped up in these little shit stains. You know what I mean? Like it was never anything, like for me, it's just like, I feel so much more connected and having those experiences to where like, you know, I threw a surprise birthday party for one of my best friends, you know, like in the entire world. She's an inspiration to me, you know, she's a single mother of 4 and grandmother too. And she's, you know, young and it's just like all love, all everything. Shout out to Angelica. But I'm never there for her birthday. And so, you know, 25 people, you know, person birthday outside, tables separated, telling everybody like I said sanitizer everywhere. Nobody walked away from it getting sick, you know, luckily, you know, knock on wood. I took some, I would say like, you know, calculated risks. You know, it was never just like, I'm not reckless. I'm not
reckless either.
Yeah, I'm not just choosing to be however, and I'm choosing to every moment that you're not with me to be as safe as possible.
Yeah.
So that you can, in good comfort, take off your mask and, you know, give me a hug or whatever. And some people aren't there, and I'm fine with that. You know, like there's varying levels of this. You know, some people are traveling, some people are not. Some people, you know, don't carry sanitizer. Some people do.
Yeah,
you know,
I've been traveling, but like you said, that's a really good word to use, calculated risk, because I've been taking calculated risks with my health. I mean, I've seen my parents, but I make sure that I've seen them 3 weeks later when I get home.
After whatever.
I came back. I just got back from Florida, and I was at my friends in Florida. We had a fabulous time. Went to Walt Disney World for 5 days and just hung out. It was wonderful. But I refused to see my parents until I'm literally taking a test, which I already did, and I'm going to be for at least another week, which is going to be next month.
Yeah, exactly. And that's,
you know, and so I take that, but I have not seen my parents since the beginning the November 21st, because I was in Mexico. I was at some other friend's house for just small gatherings, but in Mexico we had our own little we made it really safe. We really were cognizant, and we also tested before we went to Mexico to make sure that we were safe. So that's a good word, calculated risks.
You know, this is, somebody is knocking on my door.
Go ahead. Well, we can edit this part.
Like,
we can edit this part out.
Yeah, okay. God. It was like, I'm like, are you seriously knocking? Like, you know that I'm in the middle of a podcast?
Well, maybe we'll keep this part in. We'll keep your we'll keep your explosion on the podcast. That'll make it.
Where was
you hear Vicente went off on her podcast? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, he's such a nice guy. He's such a nice guy.
But it was good times. You had a good time though visiting the family for 4 months. You're very fortunate that you were able to do that, because a lot of people, I have friends who still haven't seen their parents since the lockdown. They haven't seen their parents for 9-10 months.
Yep, I know.
Sorry for them, and I'm very sorry that you lost a couple of friends who committed.
A couple friends from friends and family members from COVID and from suicide, and it's just like,
it's awful.
Dude, like I remember talking through it with my mom, because that was the thing, is we had like our tiffs and that, but we also had some huge growth moments, you know, that was just motivated by like lack of space. You know what I mean?
That's
so it was a fantastic trip, but we would talk about the fact that people are dying in the hospital just because of the disease, but you don't have anybody coming to see you. You don't have, you know, you're alone. You don't have that will, that motivation, that encouragement to live. And so that's really what it is it's just such a sad thing to spend your last day, you know, in a hospital bed by yourself is like,
I can't even imagine if that happened to my mom and dad now, and I couldn't see. My dad took a nasty spill when I was in Florida last week, and Either he got up in the morning at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, had to go to the bathroom. We don't know exactly what happened. I'm getting cameras now installed in the house now. I got 4 outside the house, and I got to get the cameras installed. So we're gonna have to get a caregiver. We're actually looking at, unfortunately, put him in assisted living, but we're trying to find out other avenues right now. But but one day, it was Thursday. I was in Florida, and the caregiver comes in and says, "What happened to your dad? Your dad has blood all over his head." We're like, "We don't know what happened."
You tell me. You're there.
Yeah, it looked like almost like a bloody murder scene because there was blood all over the bathroom, blood on the carpet, and apparently he hit his head. Thank God he didn't need any stitches. We called 911. Paramedics were there within 10 minutes.
Yeah, good.
Paramedics said, because this is the worst time to be in the hospital, let's take care of your dad here at the house. He doesn't need any hospital care. Thank the Lord. But can you imagine if it was even a worse accident that my brother probably wouldn't be able to see my dad?
Yeah.
He'd be super confused, scared by himself, doesn't know what's going on in a hospital bed. And we can't see him.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
Americans today, that they can't see their family.
Yeah, people are still going to the hospital for other things.
For other things.
It's not like
it's not just COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is the reason. So this is the controversial conflict that we're having in California and in some states where Gavin has literally closed California because it's the growth of the ICU beds that are not available for heart attacks and your strokes and aneurysm or things that regularly happens on an everyday occurrence. Now the ICU beds are being taken by COVID. So I understand that argument.
Yeah.
It's a very controversial argument because I'm also a business owner and my business has been affected as well because of COVID. These people are not working. My brother's struggling because he's not working at the restaurants. There's no restaurants open, and the servers are out of work. Unemployment rate is higher than ever. So it's a very a tumultuous time.
I feel like with this too, it's like this is the time to shine for introverts. You know what I mean? Because they are loving this.
They're loving it. My brother loves it.
I mean? This is every other day of the week, they've got to be forced to go to parties that they don't want to. Whereas you and I are like, did anybody call? Did you hear my phone ring? Is my phone on? Can you call me to see if my phone's on?
Now it's like,
I will say that the one thing, like for COVID, it has been really like beautiful to have this unbreakable excuse to not have to see people. You know what I mean? Like you can't check that.
Totally.
I'm like, oh, I would, but I'm quarantining. I'm staying safe.
I'm staying here.
And I literally, I've taken a hardcore turn away 180 from social media. You know, like
you haven't been on social media for months.
I don't scroll. I don't, you know what I mean? Like I'll post something, hopefully I'll get to see something like, oh, so-and-so got married or had a new baby and I can like that and show some love. It's not about not interacting with people. Because even my brothers were like, I turned off my notifications. I'll go days without looking at any social media. And I go, I just, post stuff and then, close the app. And my younger brother just said, literally yesterday, that's very selfish. I'm like, no, you're right. I am caring for myself and my mental health. And I was going spinsies, deep dive down like crazy town, like hole in March and April when we were quarantined. I was on there way too much and I broke something in my brain.
We all were though.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I don't even want to talk about him because I'm just so sick of like invoking his name, like Bloody Mary. But Trump, was doing. I don't want to say it 3 times.
Totally.
But don't say it 3 times in a meeting, okay? Otherwise, he'll show up and tweet at you. But I don't even want to bring him up. But it was like, obviously we had zero leadership. We had nobody at the top, kind of like directing, having us work as a nation, and so that created a lot of stress in the election. We had the election going on. It's like, we can't forget that this is, in my opinion, and that's, people can disagree or not, I don't really care. But in my opinion, the most important election in this generation, in my generation and our generation and this generation, because it was a chance for us to say no to bigotry and to discrimination and to, to racism, homophobia and transphobia.
And we did. 82 million people said no. But unfortunately, 74 million people said yes. Now, I know I shouldn't say that, but just because people were Trumpers doesn't mean that they're automatically racist.
Yeah, sure. Let's just say that.
Let's just say that. This is going to be PC.
We'll talk later. Talk later off camera. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, that doesn't make you a racist.
Totally. Okay. Now, that's the thing about them, and I've had multiple conversations about this with people who I have friends. Believe it or not, I do have friends who are Trump supporters.
Of course, yeah.
I do. And I said, if he would have been an ounce sympathetic in January, an ounce of sympathies to the virus, and saying we're going to get a hold of this and we are going to tackle it on, it is something serious, he would have won this election.
Yeah. His
beat Joe by more than 74 million, or by what he is right now. He would have won.
His response to COVID. His response to COVID was his opportunity. It was a big opportunity. Yeah. And
he would have sold me. If I would have seen him saying, we're going to tackle this, America, we're going to get America healed, I probably would have voted for him.
Yeah,
because I do have some conservative views, but I have some liberal views, and the conservative views on the economical, fiscal issues that I want to protect. So I am a self-employed person, but then I have the liberal issues about social services are important and everything like that. Because I have parents, I have a gay brother, I'm Black, I'm a woman.
You're Black?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Let me show you.
I wasn't sure. Yeah, I was like, hold on.
The reveal.
But no, I totally agree with you. I think that's so true that he had this golden opportunity to just like lead this country. Get in. And then we're in the mess that we're in because of that. And so it was like all those people that needed to, wake up and wake up out of it, I don't need people who agree with Trump after everything that's happened. Like if I looked at the whole 4 years and just looked at every moment that I was in shock, or that I was disgusted, or that I was offended, or that I was offended for people, or that I felt discrimination, had flourished, and bigotry had grown in this country stronger and more solidified than it has in decades of progress. We went so far back with him. I just decided that I don't want those kind of people in my life. I came to this conclusion when I was disconnecting from social media, that I don't really give a shit if you are like somebody that is a family member or whatever. You know what? If you agree with everything that's happened, if you are still in line with this person after everything you've seen for the 4 years, we have fundamentally different ideas about the world, and I don't need you. I have got so many friends.
Thank you.
Not to brag, humble brag, but I've got so many friends that I would rather spend my time with, and I don't spend enough time with, present company included. And so why would I waste my time arguing with some Trump wacko when I could be hanging out with my people? And it's like, even if we don't see eye to eye on whatever kind of issues or experiences in our life, that's okay. But to have a fundamental difference in who we are as people.
Difference. Yeah. I'm not saying any names, but I do have people who have voted for him, and we've had multiple conversations.
I'm sure, yeah.
The fundamental basis of why they support him, and call me their friend, and I call they call me their friend, and I call them my friend.
Right.
And deep conversations, and it always goes back to, well, he was good for the economy. You know what? At the point where I'm going to bet that I'd rather have humanity versus money.
Right.
Vote on the humanity side. I'm going to vote where people need to have equal rights and people need to be treated like a human being. We love our neighbors, and not because Trump is going to save 1 or 2% of my taxes, which actually, let's be honest, we'll find out what 2020 taxes are going to look like.
I was going to say, what is it going to look like?
It's going to be a whole, I think we've been duped that he was going to save us money on our taxes, but I think next year we're going to be screwed more than ever.
You know what? The money is there when we need it for things like, corporate subsidies, when Wall Street needs to be taken care of, when the auto industry needs to be taken care of, when the airline industry needs to be taken care of. Where is it?
They have been. Yeah.
People.
They're looking for a bailout too.
And that's the thing, is obviously it creates tension and it becomes politicized, because we go, okay, shut things down, and it was good. We got everything under control. And then we open everything up, okay? And then we have to shut things back down. And I feel like that kind of ebb and flow of like, okay, let's take this gradually. Let's take this slow. Let's enact emergency responses when we need to, but let's make sure that it's equal across the board. And most importantly, provide for people during that time. If your business is forced to shut down, you should be compensated. If you lose your job because you're forced to shut down, you should be compensated. And it's not happening at the highest level. You know, Mitch McConnell and the Senate that is in charge has been holding up great care, you know, packages that have been coming through over and over again and twisting it around to serve the interest of corporations, you know, taking small business loans and dividing them up to 400 locations and saying they're a small business is, you know, it's fraud, you know, and it's dishonest, it's cruel. And you know, it starts there. If that response had been different, people would, you know, stay home, stay safe, and we would all be on the same side. How amazing would it have been if for once, not just the US came together, but the world came together? But nope, we said, you know, World Health Organization, you know, I'm not listening to you. You know, we
no
you know, didn't listen to the doctors.
Cut the funding,
you know, we're gonna put they want to put Fauci in jail, you know, blah, blah, blah. It went completely sideways. We had this moment where we were all in this together. And then Trump got a hold of it with his dirty little talons and just took it, you know, the complete opposite direction. So, yeah, I mean, we're at this point where I think that we've all kind of drawn our lines in the sand and we're like, this is the kind of person I am. I'm going to take personal responsibility. I'm going to listen to the doctors. I'm going to, you know, get the vaccine. I'm going to, you know, social distance. I'm going, you know, and that's who I am. And then on the other side, you're somebody who thinks that the election was stolen and you have brain cells that are not firing. You know, like that's, I mean, how many times do you need to be told? By Republicans too. It's not just Democrats. Republicans have said, Shannon, again, I am sorry for the outburst.
Let's pray. Let's meditate real quick. Hold on. Crazy. How many times did how many times does Biden show that he won? How many times? How many freaking times? And then the electoral votes are challenged. And so now they're saying, okay, well, December, what is it, January? You know, is when the election. Oh my God. How many freaking, oh, you're pausing. Oh, you're pausing.
January comes together.
Was it January 5th? Well, the Georgia runoffs.
Okay, it was
6th, right? January 6th are the runoffs for Georgia. So I think they're going to turn blue. Like I think those two Democrat senators are going to be voted in because Lafleur and Perdue.
Yeah, I mean,
they got some bad stuff going on with them right now. Did you see the picture that?
And here's the thing, right?
She took pictures of the KKK leader, and she didn't know. Oh, sorry, I didn't know.
Right.
A picture with a KKK
leader.
Really? Come on.
She's like, he had this big white hat on. I was so confused. No, it's funny because the thing that you should be concerned with is not trying to understand how you didn't or make excuses for how you didn't know. But what you should be concerned with is that your views and your ideology align so easily with white supremacists, KKK, you know, like those kind of people. Why do your views, you and Trump, you guys line up with these people perfectly? They love you. So let's think about that larger America who voted for Trump and who are still rational people who are just kind of clinging to that Republican moniker and they want to be that person and they know they don't agree with Trump. Think about that. Oh my God, that was it.
We need to take our picture.
So shocked that we had.
Totally, we gotta take our still real quick. Take a still. We went from politics to vanity.
Don't forget to take a picture. Yeah. Forgot about that. Well, no, I mean, I think that like you said, we've got so many issues to talk about. We're wrapping up like a whole year, but also just the fact that like we have to inject some comedy into what's going on. You know, like that's really the truth. You know, and that's what motivated me to do these videos that I've been doing. You know, like just.
So let's talk about this video because I'm gonna post it so people can see this hilarious video.
Do you love Christmas? Do you love a Karen? Well, we've got the album for you, 2020's Karen Christmas album. Here's some behind-the-scenes footage. Enjoy.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. You know what? Screw this. I am not going to sing in Spanish. They need to learn English. If you want to come to this country, I'm dreaming of a whites-only Christmas. What? You have a problem with that? Is everybody mad now? Oh, my cancer. Holy me? No, I won't be silent because Trump won, okay? He won the election, and you guys put those ballots where?
Enjoy Christmas, but like a Karen.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, but you couldn't fucking see it because he's wearing a mask, and it's so stupid because they don't even work, and we all know Fauci is part of the deep state. We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, and a Muslim Chinese band. Jingle bells, radical liberals defund the police. Now there's crime in my suburban town and Black Lives Matters in my street. More states with voter fraud. 3 Supreme Court picks, 2 gender-specific bathrooms, 1 border wall, and a pipeline through native lands.
Do you still think that Trump won the election? Like, seriously? Well then, this is the album for you.
So you do it all. You have this amazing resume of entertainment. So you did this video that I saw you posted on Facebook and Instagram, and it was basically the call of the Karen, because 2020 is the year of the Karen, right? And so you encompass this
for sure
of karaoke at a bar or at a party. And go ahead, tell people what you did for this video. Tell the broads.
Yeah, so basically it just kind of sprung into my mind when I was watching the video of that lady who had she was like testifying to the Michigan Supreme Court, or Michigan State Senate, with Rudy Giuliani, right? Like just that. Oh, you got, she seemed like drunk, you guys don't even know where the ballots are, so
what did you do with the ballots?
That just like hit me in the why did you use ballots? So it just kind of hit me that I think Christmas kind of popped into my head, and then it was like Feliz Navidad, and then it was like, no, I'm not singing in Spanish, they need to learn English, and I was like, okay, let me see if I can get even one more Christmas song to fit like bigoted Karen lyrical kind of flow. And then it was like, I'm dreaming of a whites only Christmas, and I was like, okay. I think
you're getting some ideas.
And so then song after song just developed out of this. Yeah, exactly. It had a flow to it that I loved. And so basically the setup is like, it's a Karen Christmas album. And so it's for bigots. It's all meant to be kind of like infomercial style. Like, are you looking for an album that a Karen would love? You know what I mean? Like, so that's
awesome.
And then it's like little skits, and every song that she sings, she pops off, about, and in a Karen type of way, with, whether it's in reference to Black Lives Matter or defunding the police or bigotry towards people who speak Spanish, which these are all things that we've seen, the transphobic, kind of crusading of North Carolina and the bathroom law, all of these things we go into. Native pipelines, the pipelines through native lands. So I just tried to hit every
social subject, yeah.
And it's not just as simple for me as creating content for the sake of creating content. I like having a message. I want it to be funny. I want it to be original, and I want it to be done well for being a YouTube. I put it on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, I hit all the markers.
And people are loving it.
Thank you so much to you because you posted it.
Yeah, let's get on something that you and I obviously love to talk about, which is entertainment, music, movies, shows.
Yeah.
What has been the shows that you've been really gravitated to? Because last night, again, we're recording this December 19th. Last night, I saw the most amazing show. I don't know if you're into it, but The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, the Star Wars. Oh my God.
He just asked me if I'm into The Mandalorian. Have you?
Yeah. What is that?
Have you ever met me before?
That's right. I know. Who am I talking to? Who am I talking to? That's right.
Of course.
Did you watch it last night?
Yes, I watched it last night.
Did you cry? I cried.
My tear ducts, they don't work anymore, but if I could cry, I would have cried. Yeah, I mean, how breathtaking was it what happened?
No spoilers. No spoilers.
To see that person show up in this universe, and I was like full Home Alone face.
Yeah, I was like this. What?
Yeah.
I wish we could talk about it, but not spoiling it. But
it's still pretty fresh.
But just just the relationship with the Mandalorian and Grogu, the Baby Yoda, and just established within the last 2 seasons was so beautiful to me because that he was longing to love somebody because he hasn't been loved, and being behind a mask all his life, he was so separate from society, separate from having compassion. That's why he was what he is, a bounty killer. But from the first 2 episodes, when he meets Baby Yoda, he just has a strong connection to it. And I just thought that was so beautiful. And I think it attests to people who don't have relationships with their fathers, fathers and sons, they don't have a relationship, and it breaks my heart.
When I think that it's a testament to like family can be wherever you find it. It's not as specific as your blood. And I mean, there's people that are my blood that I'm not close to and that I don't, or don't speak to or whatever. And then there are people who are my friends who I speak to constantly and it feels like family, so family can be a feeling. And that's what this speaks to. It's like, your nature can always change. He was this, hardened killer, bounty hunter. And then now by the end of it, he's in tears, so that's the show that like was for me the most kind of like insane coming together of all these different aspects of things that I like and that I find powerful, that blew me away. And I don't know if you've watched it, but on HBO Max, HBO Max just launched, so they've got a bunch of new series.
I'm on it.
And Lovecraft Country was the one
Lovecraft Country. Yes, speak on it, honey. Speak on Lovecraft Country. Mind blown.
Oh my God.
Mind blown.
Yeah. No, I mean, like the inclusion of like a trans character, kind of that, being this mystical being, the beauty that you saw in that, and being and honestly, people don't even think about the reality of showing kind of showing that physical form without kind of any reductions or any kind of changes. Like that was huge. That was huge for progress. Huge. Having this character, this strong character who was Black and who was gay and who was closeted, huge. Facing the realities of the racism that exists and having it tie into like a magical institution, and showing that. I mean, there's so many moments taking real points of history. I feel awful not knowing, but I can't remember the name of the boy, but they used the name of the real boy who died. Who was killed back.
He was killed. Yeah.
Barbed wire, and then he was drowned. That was the real story. And obviously I went back and read up on the actual story, and just to learn that it was true was just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But there were so many moments where I felt spoken for, I felt represented, and I'm not a Black person in Chicago in 1950. It doesn't matter. But
you are a LGBTQ community, Hispanic male, and you were able to really relate to it. I was able to relate as a Black woman because Ruby, and as a woman of size, I'm a plus size woman, and Ruby played with her sister, had these things that I deal with, being a Black woman, being a dark-skinned woman, being a woman who has been cited for a job in the past, who is still sexual and beautiful, but had insecurities, and I've dated white men, and did I feel superior? Did I feel less than dating a white man and being approached, when he approached her at the bar? And then was the most controversial episode is when she turns into a white woman. And that was the most electrifying moment when I watched that show, because I think for myself, I have wished I was white at some time in my life.
100%.
And a lot of Black people don't want to admit that they've ever wanted to wish that.
Yeah.
But most Black people have wished that they were white. And that episode alone was explosive on so many levels because I was able to see what Ruby was going through. She was elated, she was scared at first, and then she felt accepted. And that one spot when she was telling, what was the white lady's name? Julia? The witch. What was her name?
Yeah. I can't
remember that. She didn't want to be interrupted. She was being interrupted. She was it was not just being interrupted and speaking, but interrupted in life because she was born and she was always to be said no, because this was Jim Crow. This was in the land of Jim Crow, the era of Jim Crow. So there were civil rights. There was nothing like that. When Lovecraft, the first episode showed the racist cops saying that they weren't allowed, if you were Black, that you were not allowed to be on the streets after 5 p.m. And that's history. You were shot and killed. You were living. If you were out in public in these southern states, if you were out there at 5 o'clock or 6 p.m. at night, you were to stay home.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, to take those real instances of experiences that happened, you know, like the Tulsa massacre. You know, there were two shows. There were 2 shows from HBO that referenced the Tulsa massacre.
Yeah, Watchmen in this one.
Something that should be like a part of American history, you know, so that history doesn't repeat itself, so that people have a good scope of reality of what the Black experience was in America beforehand, so that they're not so dismissive of racism when it exists in this day and age.
Thank you.
That's the value of it. It's not about hanging on to it and saying, I'll never let this go. We should never let this go. You know, it's not about that. It's not, we shouldn't sweep it under the rug and say, oh, but I don't say the N-word anymore, blatantly and aggressively, to people. So we're good, right? We're good on that. No, it's not that simple, you know?
It's not that easy, no.
Yeah, I love listening to Kanye West, and I love cheering on Black athletes, and I love, you want all the fun parts. You want all the fun parts of black culture and Black experience, you know? But you don't want to
learn about the Black culture. Right.
Yeah, exactly. You should speak your language. You know, you shouldn't come here and speak your native languages, you know. But oh my God, I love taquitos. You know, Taco Tuesday, like margarita. It's like, what? You don't get to cherry pick our existence.
Oh my God, I love you. I love you so much, because that speaks on so many ethnic levels in America. I love your food, and I want to wear what you wear, but don't come here talking that mess over here. You gotta speak American.
Yeah.
American.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
God, 100%. I love you so much.
That Lovecraft Country was just like that for me. It was like the song of the summer. Like, I could not get enough of it. I love the characters, and also, like, I'm a nerd at heart. You know, I love sci-fi. I love fantasy. I love world building.
Me too.
I love the scope of it all. You know, it's just, it's really gorgeous, and they did it in such an amazing way, and were very original. And then even more so, as I looked into it, you know, H.P. Lovecraft was a huge racist. You know,
he sure was. Yes.
Take his stories and to use them to tell Black stories. You know what I mean? Like, just
Michael, what's his name? The director.
Michael Key. Wait, which one? The one from Key and Peele?
Yes, Key and Peele.
Okay.
He's the one who created that. He created the show, helped produce it, just like with us and Get Out. You know.
Yeah. Twilight Zone.
But you know, I want to touch on our last podcast, because you, as a comedian, you resorted in your first film, when you're into independent film, your film was dramatic. And here is Keegan, or God, I'm messing up his name. What's his name?
No, Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele comes from a comedic background, hysterical actor, great comedic, performance. And then he brings these horror dramatic movies to the screen. I mean, what a huge 180 to where we used to, you know. And so he's working on the new movie that's coming out, Candyman, next year. Have you seen that trailer?
I've seen the trailer, yeah.
It's insane, gorgeous art, this animation trailer with this movie that you and I, we were raised with the movie Candyman. It was super cheesy, 80s, slap pick, but he's making this movie a different way on a social level, why Candyman is who he is, and it actually looks like it's going to take all these generations of Black men who were tortured and murdered, and it's like a revenge story of the people and their ancestors who these people.
Well, and it's the same. It's the same for like white serial killers. So why can't it be the same for Black serial killers? That I want justice. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. Okay, we need Black serial killers that are as complex and as motivated by the same virtuous traits as Jason. Jason was wrong, so he killed all people who wronged him. Okay, he's a tortured soul. But we make excuses for Jason, but not Candyman. Candyman's just a brutal killer.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is on Netflix now. So that's the Chadwick Boseman's last film, and it has to do with the Jack in the South, and Viola Davis is in it. So that's on Netflix. I'm gonna try to watch that tonight. So get that Ma Rainey Bottom. So it's supposed to be it was based on a musical, I believe. I definitely
check it out.
One thing about lockdown, we're definitely gonna be able to catch up on our movies and our films and our shows, right?
I'm taking in so much content, but I'm also being specific about the content that I take in. I want it to be good. I want it to be something that's worth my time. I'm not just watching anything. And then it stimulates my creative nodes. And I've been doing so much writing and just constantly developing things that I had started with before that I had put down, but it's inspired. I mean, I'm trying to be productive and take away the inspiration, so that I'm ready to kind of give something to the world when we're back open and all that.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're going to start shutting this little production down. I want to say thank you so much for being a fabulous guest as always. I can't wait to get this going and let people see you again. So I want to say thank you, Vicente, for joining me and joining the group as well, the Broad podcast. And as always, thank you for listening to Abroad.